This presentation provides an overview of the educational programs and operations levy renewal that Federal Way Public Schools will place on the February 10, 2026 ballot. The Educational Programs and Operations Levy, or EP&O levy, is a local funding measure that helps support school services beyond what the state provides. This is not a new tax, but a renewal of an existing approved levy which expires in December of 2026. 285 of the 295 school districts in Washington state rely on levies to bridge the gap between what the state provides and what is actually needed to support our schools. The levy would last 4 years and requires a simple majority for approval. The levy keeps local funds in our schools and helps to maintain academic programs, support services, staffing, and daily operations that are either unfunded or not fully funded by the state. Our community has continuously supported the EP&O levy since 1980, and approval of the levy will provide support for Federal Way Public Schools through the year 2030. Now let's look at how local levy dollars fit into our overall budget. There are 4 main sources that support the district's annual budget. First is state funding, which provides about 77% of the overall budget and is based largely on student enrollment. State dollars support teaching and learning, instructional materials, transportation, operating costs, and many of the staff who work directly with students and those who also support district-wide operations. Federal funding accounts for about 8% of the budget. It supports programs that provide additional support for students, including academic assistance, school meals, family engagement, and services for special education and multilingual learners. Other local sources make up about 5% of the budget. These include our Early Childhood Education and Assistance Program, also known as ECAP, which serves our youngest learners, as well as capacity for grants and growth-related contingencies. And the remaining 10% of our budget comes from the Educational Programs and Operations, or EP&O levy, funded by local taxpayers. Local levy dollars have an important impact on students. They support the 5 goals of our strategic plan, help maintain educational quality, support diverse learning needs, provide enrichment opportunities, and ensure safe, welcoming learning environments. Let's take a look at some examples of what this means in Federal Way. The levy helps fund academic and extracurricular programs and opportunities, including advanced placement, international baccalaureate, and Cambridge classes. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics classes, programs, and opportunities, career and technical education programs, and college and career readiness pathways, as well as up-to-date curriculum and professional development that support classroom learning. It also funds classes such as art, music, and theater, class field trips, and extracurricular clubs and activities like pep band, marching band, and theater productions. And the levy funds 100% of all our athletic programs, including high school and middle school sports, 6th grade flag football, unified sports, and no-cut intramural basketball, soccer, and volleyball teams. The renewal levy helps fund essential staff, from those who support learning in classrooms like teachers, paraeducators, and guest staff, to those supporting students with special needs like our therapists, speech-language pathologists, and audiologists, to those who care for student well-being, including nurses, counselors, mental health professionals, and safety and security staff. The levy also supports daily operational needs such as transportation, nutrition services, utilities, and facility maintenance. And more specifically in Federal Way, levy funding supports college and career specialists at each of our high schools who support activities and experiences such as career fairs, college application, and financial aid assistance. In addition to the 12 technology staff funded by the state, local levy funding supports 9 additional staff who help maintain digital infrastructure, manage student information systems, ensure data security, and oversee day-to-day technology operations for our more than 21,500 students. The state funds 4 safety and security staff. Local levy funding supports an additional 15 security staff who keep schools safe and secure. The levy funds all middle and high school competitive sports programs, 6th grade flag football, unified sports at high schools, and our no-cut intramural basketball, soccer, and volleyball teams. It also funds coaching staff and supervision, operations of Memorial Field, and transportation for competitions. Now that we've explored the levy and examples of programs, staff, and services supported by the local levy, let's look at the proposed tax rate and estimated cost to local taxpayers. This chart shows the total school district tax rate over time and how different voter-approved measures contribute to that total. Looking back at rates from 2015 to 2018, before the McCleary lawsuit decision, were above $6 per $1,000 of assessed value. Following that, rates dropped and have remained in the mid-$3 range, with small year-to-year fluctuations. Looking ahead, you'll see projections show an increase starting in 2027 to help meet ongoing school funding needs. Even with this adjustment, rates continue in the mid-$3 range. Here you can see the dollar amounts for the 4-year levy that voters will be asked to approve along with the corresponding estimated tax rates. It's important to know that voters are being asked to approve a fixed dollar amount, highlighted in the yellow box, rather than a tax rate. For example, the district would collect $71.4 million in 2027, based on an estimated rate of $2.50 per $1,000 of assessed value. This illustrates how the fixed levy amount relates to the estimated tax rate. The total amount collected will not exceed what voters approve, even if assessed home values increase. When home values increase, the estimated tax rate adjusts downward, so the district collects only the amount authorized by voters. Now that we've walked through the levy amounts and the estimated tax rates, let's take a moment to review a few key points to keep in mind about the levy. The 2026 EP&O levy is a renewal, not a new tax, and continues local funding through 2030 for the programs and people that support our students every day. It also helps fund staff, from teachers, paraeducators, and guest staff, to counselors and mental health professionals, as well as safety and security staff, custodians, and maintenance staff. It provides funding for academic and extracurricular activities such as STEM, college and career programs, art, music, theater, and athletics. And it fills the gap in funding from the state for daily operation costs like transportation, nutrition services, utilities, and facility maintenance. Now that we've reviewed the important role that our EP&O levy plays in supporting day-to-day educational services, here's what to expect as we move toward the upcoming election. If you're a registered voter living within Federal Way Public Schools boundaries, you'll receive your ballot in the mail around mid-January. If you still need to register, you can do so online at votewa.gov or in person at a county office. Once you've filled out your ballot, return it through the mail or drop it in an official ballot drop box. Just be sure it's submitted before the 8 p.m. deadline on February 10th, 2026. And exemption from taxes may be available to certain homeowners. To determine if you qualify, call the King County Assessor at 206-296-7300. Thank you for watching this presentation. For accurate and up-to-date information and frequently asked questions about the levy, visit the Federal Way Public Schools Levy 2026 webpage. If you have additional questions, please email levy@fwps.org. And please remember to return your ballots before the due date of February 10, 2026. Thank you.